What up, everybody? It's your boy Adam, back at you. It's day 23 now of the 5-week, 35-day Rise and Grind Challenge. And yeah, day 23. I'm a little bit burned out right now. It's about 7:45 in the evening, and I still got work to do tonight. But I hit a really good milestone, and I'm kind of I'm like really happy about it. And so I've been grinding away for the last 3 days trying to get this done. And I got it live. It's good. It just feels like an accomplishment. So, and I've done a lot in the last 3 days. And I don't even know what day the last video I shot was. Everything's kind of a mess. Um, I've had to set aside a lot. I didn't go to the gym. I haven't really left my house. I haven't left my house since Tuesday. Monday. It's Sunday and I haven't left my house since. No, I take that back. I went grocery shopping one of the days. It's in the video. I don't even know. Like, I'm out of it. Um, I'll start with day 21. The recap, I probably talked about it. I did talk about it a little bit, but probably in the morning. So I'll start with day 21 and go from there. Friday was day 21, and because of the week, I lost a lot of time on my client project. I spent 2 whole days trying to reorganize my accounting software, if you will. And it's hard to keep track of everything. And so I switched from using a custom built Notion database that mimics traditional accounting software, but I built it myself. But I've kind of outgrown that. And so I moved to Quicken. The personal edition of Quicken will handle everything that I need. And once I dug into that, my goal was to get everything from April 1st to the end of the month simultaneously logged in my system that I already use, which up until the day I did that, it was already done. So I was transferring manually to learn the new software, re-entering everything from the month of April into the new system. And I got all caught up and they were both synchronized. Everything was reconciled in sync, perfectly done. And by the time I got through all of that, and keep in mind there's a lot of setup, experimentation, like do I do this, do I do that? There's usually more than one way to do something, so I'm trying to okay, well if I do it this way, then there's that ramification, and if I do it that way, then there's this thing to worry about, and well if I do that, well then what do I do about this? And a lot of that stuff. It took 2 whole days. 2 whole days. But I'm comfortable knowing I can move. I don't see any issues that will stop me from moving forward. So May 1st, I won't have any more records in my old system. It will all be in the new system. And just for keeping my reports and stuff, I like looking at the reports. I like to see things. I like to see what's going on. And Quicken, the reporting is a lot more powerful than what I have baked into my own system. And it's easier to run reports. And you can, another thing about Quicken, it's easier to create a multitude of categories to track things at a finer level, and group categories and subcategories. And then you can relate a category to your taxes, and you can say, okay, this is related to taxes, Schedule C, and then this is the itemized deduction category that you would list it under in the Schedule C form. And so it's deeper. It's a deeper level, and it's good. It'll help a lot. And I think that data entry side of things, when I take 2 weeks to be lazy and then I got to go, oh crap, I can't do anything. I can't pay any bills or do anything until I know how much money's doing what, where, and because when you're broke, you got to know where all your pennies are at. And so it's going to help. And it was like $35 for a whole year. And then I would say on May 1st, I can cancel my Notion subscription and not pay for that anymore. And that's like $13 a month. So, and I'm sick of Notion. It's a bug-riddled piece of trash, and I'll use it for free because there's a lot you can do for the free version. I recommend the free version, but I don't recommend paying them for it because they just don't want to fix their bugs. And I don't want to support a company like that. Their tech support is abysmal. They're a terrible company. They're too big to care. I talk about that all the time, and they're an example of a company. They grew and grew and grew, and now they're like they're a $1 billion company now, and they don't give a shit about you. Even if you're a customer that pays them, who cares? They don't care. So, and I hate companies like that. We're not going to get through a day of our lives this day and age without having to deal with companies like that. But when I can cut one out, I love the feeling of just goodbye. And so we'll go from there. um, but Friday, now I've got Friday, Saturday, and Sunday to jam out 30 hours on a client project. So that's no gym. That's sitting at my desk from early in the morning till late at night, getting a sore back. Good thing I've got a good office chair. I've got the Herman Miller Aeron chair. And I mean, me personally, I would never want another office chair. I've been using these chairs since I've had one of these chairs for 20 years. You can buy a Herman Miller Aeron chair and you will have it for the rest of your life unless the FBI drives a tank into your house and you lose everything you own. But that's really the only way you're going to lose your chair. You can go to Home Depot, or not Home Depot, Home Office, Max Depot, Staples, whatever the hell it is. You can get an office chair there for a couple $100 and it's going to fall apart in 6 months and it's going to train wreck your back. You can get a used Herman Miller Aeron chair for about $400 on Craigslist, Facebook Marketplace. It'll last 50 years. And if a part does break, every single individual part of this chair is replaceable. And there really aren't any parts that cost more than $50, maybe $100 for an expensive part, but the smallest pieces of this chair are replaceable, and the chair is completely customizable. I might need to get a new set of armrests someday on this one, but this one's in really great shape. I think I got it for $350 or $400 from a guy in Houston on Facebook Marketplace, and when I got to his house, he had like 100 of them in his whole first floor of his house. He must have bought some office going out of business and was hawking the chairs on Craigslist. But this is like $1,000 chair. But they do give you a 10-year warranty when you buy the chair if you bought it brand new, and they're really good. They'll replace anything that goes wrong with it. But anyway, you need a good chair if you're going to be sitting at a desk for 10 hours a day. And this chair actually helps my crooked back not be so crooked. It's very comfortable, but you still got to get up and walk around and all that. So I put in 10 hours on Friday, client work, writing code, cascading style sheets, CSS, HTML too. Well, HTML was already written the previous week. Basically, write a couple lines of code, go to the web browser, hit refresh, take a screenshot, put that in Photoshop, measure out different things, make sure everything lines up with a prototype that I designed. If something's not right, measure the gap, go back, do the math, rewrite the line of code, go back, hit refresh, take a screenshot, go back to Photoshop, and just repeat that process. How many times in an hour could I do that? 30, 40 times. Let's say 30 times an hour times 30 hours. Probably 900 to 1,000 times over the last 3 days. Wash, rinse, repeat. Same thing over and over and over. But it's done. It's good. It looks good. I'm happy with it. I did spend some time on Friday catching up on some YouTube comments, and one of the OGs on the channel, one of the OG viewers, left a comment about camping in Galveston, because I keep talking about I just need to disappear for like 3 or 4 days, and Galveston Island here in Houston has a state park right on the beach with campsites right on the beach. It's not like my kind of camping. Like, there's national forest I can go to that I would be allowed to go to, even though I'm, on probation or whatever. I would rather just go find a quiet spot in the national forest to camp. But something to be said about sitting at the beach for a few days, listening to the waves, playing with the sharks in the water, eating some good food by a campfire, having showers and bathrooms, and having a home base to hop on a bicycle and zip up and down the island and just enjoy life for a few days and just forget about everything. In fact, I remember my last time camping, and she reminded me of that. And it was on my way to Houston when I was in transition from being homeless, driving to Houston. I camped for one night in a national forest in northern Mississippi. And so I know that I shot some YouTube videos while I was at that campsite, and I knew how to find them. They were easy to find. And I started watching these. It was like a reminder of how far have you really come, Adam, since you moved to Houston? The time has gone by so fast, and I always feel like I'm behind and I'm not doing enough. And, I'm always thinking in that side of the fence. And it was like just going back in time, and just like, it was kind of hard to watch for different reasons, but it was kind of like, wow, because I can put myself, I'm having flashbacks right now of that whole journey. And, but the biggest thing I got about watching those videos is it just reminded me that God will provide. Whenever I think things are just like, how is this all going to work out? I don't know what to do. This is like, I don't know how this is going to work out. Over and over and over again, God will provide. And He has shown me that so many times since I left Jamestown to stop being homeless and moved to Houston to get my life put back together. I can't count the number of times that God just shows up and fixes a problem without, I might have had to do something, but usually it's just out of the blue and it just happens magically. And I'll share a couple of stories. I'll try to make it quick, but a lot of people on the channel were giving me crap about going to rent a rental car with a debit card, saying it can't be done. And I've had mixed experiences with that. I went to rent a car here in Houston and they wouldn't do it. I had to get my friend to give me his credit card so we could put it all in his name, because they flat out wouldn't take a debit card, and it was the same rental car company that I used to come down here. Another time we went to a rental car place in Houston and they would have taken my debit card. They had no problem with it. Same car company, different location. Each location seems to have their own rules, so keep that in mind. I had 3 different experiences at 3 different locations of Enterprise rental car. But I'll just, the first time in Houston, they would have taken my debit card, no problem. But my driver's license was still in New York, and they wouldn't do it because my driver's license wasn't Texas. So my friend had to put it in his name on his credit card. The second time I went to do it, they wouldn't let me at all, but it was a different location, and they were just like, no, we won't do that. They're like, they would do it, But they straight up, they wanted like a copy of my lease, telephone bills, 3 paycheck stubs. They wanted like they wanted more documentation from me than I would have to provide a bank to get a fucking mortgage just to be able to use a debit card to rent a car. So once again, my friend had to put it on his credit card. So you can get kind of screwed like that. But when I went to Jamestown to rent a car, if I wanted to pick one up at the place in Jamestown, Enterprise Rental Car in Jamestown, to rent this van, it was going to be like $1,500 to rent the van to come here to Houston. But I could go to Orchard Park, which is outside of Buffalo. It's where the Bills play. It's where the stadiums are. And the price was $700 for the same amount of time. Same van. But I was still worried about this whole debit card thing because I'm homeless. I don't have utility bills. I don't have, I'm a mess. And my buddy who drove me up to Orchard Park, he was like, don't worry about it. If anything goes wrong, he's like, don't worry about it. I got you. I'll put it on my card and put it in my name. I don't care. Just don't stress. It's an 1.5-hour drive to go to Orchard Park. My buddy had to take his mom to the eye doctor. And he's like, well, that just happens to be in the same neighborhood, so he's like, it's the same day and everything. He's like, that works out. I can take my mom to her eye doctor and drop you off on the way. So that was already synchronicity. Like, that was already God telling me, look, dude, it's going to be all right. You got to ride to the place. And he had to go there anyway. So he's not even going out of his way to help you. And we get there. And we walk in the door, and everybody inside the place was like, hey, what's up? To my buddy, my client. And he knew everybody there. And they're all like talking like they're best friends and they haven't like hung out in a while. And I'm like, what the? It was an 1.5-hour drive. This wasn't like walking down the street and walking into a local bar. This was like an 1.5-hour drive walking into a random rental car place, and everybody in the place knew him. And they're all like best buddies and, hey, high fives and hugs and everything else. And I'm like, holy, what the? That was wild. And so I hand them my debit card. They're like, swipe, here you go. Here's the keys. No problem at all. No problem at all. I don't even know if they took my driver's license. They probably took my driver's license and made a copy of it or whatever, but no problem at all. Like, done. And because my buddy was tight with everybody there, here's another thing. Okay, so my buddy was really tight with everybody there, and then he was telling me that he knows somebody who's like a regional manager or like really high up in the company, and he's gonna like call them and see what they could do to like, friends and family discount, whatever. So anyway, I forgot about that. Well, on my way to Houston, a situation popped up, and I was gonna need $300. And I was nervous about it. I had the money, but at the same time, I don't want my money going down the drain because I don't have a job. I don't have income. Whatever I got in the bank in my pocket right now, it's like, that's it. And I'm moving across the country, and I need to like be careful. But I needed this $300. Needed it. And when I got to Houston, returned the rental van, when I got my deposit back from renting the van, I got an extra $211 back. Above and beyond what I was supposed to get back. And I'm like, they basically gave me a day off of my rental fee. I think it was like the buddy hookup. So out of nowhere, I had $211 come back that wasn't supposed to come back. And then another $90 to $100 magically showed up. I don't even remember what it was. I just remember I'm watching the video of myself talking about it, and I'm telling myself through YouTube that I got another $100 that came my way unexpectedly, and now I had the 300 that I needed to do the thing. Boom. And so then I go to my first probation meeting when I'm here in Houston, and like for the first time since I've been out of prison, I was a thousandaire. I don't know if I'll ever be a millionaire, but there was months that I never thought I'd be a thousandaire again. I'm like just scraping on by. I don't even know how I got through those 5 months of being homeless, because I still had expenses and bills to pay even though I was homeless, and somehow it would just magically work out every month. And now I'm coming to Houston, and through the grace of God, this client that I met, I was sitting on a park bench in a park, homeless, recording a YouTube video, and this guy's dog ran up to me, and I started petting the dog, and then I started talking to the guy, and a week later, I'm a thousandaire. I got some money in the bank, and I'm driving to Houston in a rental car, and I'm like, the whole thing just blows my mind, because I don't even know how it just fell into place. Like, this wasn't me. This was God. This was what I'm talking about. So for the first time ever, I'm a thousandaire. And so I go to my probation meeting with the probation office here in Houston for the first time. And the guy was a little bit of a jerk on day one. And he was like, look, he was just copping me an attitude about, like, I don't know, like, he may have had an impression of what I was going to be like that wasn't positive. Just leave it at that. And that's kind of the vibe I got from him. And he's like, he basically told me that I have to basically pay I had a fine that I had to pay. But I didn't pay it the whole time I was homeless because I was fucking homeless. And so he kind of like put me on the spot, and he was like, you need to go home today and pay that fine today, and if you don't, we're going to have problems. And I'm like, whoa. Wow, that's fucked up. Well, nice, girl, no, like, go on a payment plan or none of that. No, you need to go home right now and pay that fine. Well, lucky enough, I was a thousandaire, at least until the end of the day. And then at the end of the day, boo, I was no longer a thousandaire. But the fine was paid. And I'm like, I guess I'm just trading one set of problems for another. But Johnny Law is sitting here telling me that if I don't empty my bank account today, he can put me back in prison. And I'm like, well, I don't really like prison that much, so I guess I'll do what I got to do. And I'm telling you, like, within a week or two, right away, God filled my bank account back up. And once again, I was a thousandaire. I don't even think, I might be a thousandaire right now. I might be. I'll probably be a thousandaire tomorrow, if I'm not today, or sometime between now and Wednesday. And then I'm going to pay my rent, and I will no longer be a thousandaire. So, I mean, that's where I'm at. Some of you may be well-established thousandaires, but for me, I can be a thousandaire sometimes, but it doesn't last. That's where I'm at. That's how I'm living. And so, anyway, another random example. I had just moved into the tool shed. If you're one of the OGs, you're the only people that watch my videos anyway, so I'm talking to you. And so I moved into that tool shed that you all saw me living in, the jail cell with the Home Depot tool shed with the jail cell layout in that scam artist's backyard. And I needed a water filter. The water in that place was so putrid, and I wouldn't drink it, but I had like a water bottle with a filter on it, but it didn't take the taste out, and it just wasn't. I had to get a water filter. Had to. And so I didn't, I didn't go for the Berkey, the $400 $500 Berkey system, but I got a good one. I think it's, what is it? I'm looking at it. Pure Wealth. It's an Amazon Berkey water filter knockoff brand from China. And it was rated, I did a lot of homework on this, and it was rated second place. All these different people tested them, and I don't mean just usability. They tested the water that comes out of them, and the only one that was better than this was the Berkey. And at the time, Berkey water filters are going through some lawsuits and stuff, and so Berkey water filters were like $500 all of a sudden. And this thing was it was like 175. Let's say that's what it was. And so I bought this thing on a random evening, and I'm like, oh, like rent's coming up. I don't know how I'm going to pay rent, but I guess I'll figure it out, etc. But I really need water filter. I need water. That's all I drink is juice and water, coffee. And so I just decided it couldn't wait because it was a problem and it needed to be fixed, and I could have the thing delivered tomorrow. And I got it the next day. And I'm not kidding. 15 minutes after I bought the water filter on Amazon, a random channel viewer dropped $175 into my digital chicken bucket, which is located at donate.litgood.com. There's your plug for the video. But the point is, out of nowhere, I wasn't begging for it. I wasn't asking for it. You get a little plug here and there. People like to hook a brother up. Even to this day, someone just bought me a pair of hiking boots. Boom. I still haven't gone hiking. But believe me, they will get used very soon. I've been busy on other things. I'm talking about it right now. But anyway, this water filter. Bought the water filter. I am not kidding. 15 minutes later, I'm sitting in my chair and I'm still stressing about it. Like, it's like that feeling you get when you buy a car and you're coming home from the dealership and you're like in that, like, oh my God, what the hell did I just do mode? Because it's a scary thing, Like, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. Like your brain is just fried. And it was that, but I'm broke. So it only takes a couple $100 sometimes for me to go, and have that same feeling. 15 minutes go by. I get an email. Someone dropped $175 in the chicken bucket. And I'm like, yo, 15 minutes. And that money, Amazon took the money out of my bank account that night. The money went back into the bank account at like 6 a.m. So I went from like 10 o'clock at night to 6 in the morning, and the money was back. And I had a water filter. So somebody on the channel, a channel viewer, I would be able to go back and know exactly who you were and your email address and everything. And I'm just not going to dox you on the video. But you bought me a water filter that night, unbeknownst to you or me, until it happened. 15 minutes after I ordered it. And so I just needed to watch those videos on Friday while I was working on my client's project, but I was listening to that in the background and just like remembering all these things. And I just needed a reminder that God will take care of it. God will take care of it. And it's like, I know this, but sometimes I need to be reminded of this. He always does. He always takes care of it. Sometimes I wish he would do it faster, but he is always on time. Unlike Amazon, but we'll get to that in a minute. And then I'm listening to myself talk, just like, how far have you come? I complain about my backdrop here. Like, I got my refrigerator, my bicycle workshop, a random door that I never shut. In fact, that door it's pretty much pointless. I barely ever close that door. It just separates the two rooms here. But you can see that air gap up above, and it's kind of like pointless. It's a pointless door. But I'm glad it's there, I guess. And my kitchen's right there, my bicycles are right there, and I get a little irritated sometimes. That I don't feel cramped, but I feel like, I know where I lived. I had a really nice life before this all happened. So I think about my old life, and oh God, it's so much different. But watching those videos, I was talking about and reminded about how when I was homeless, every time I would set up a little office space in the Jamestown Public Library, I would need to pack everything back down into my bag. Every time I had to go to the bathroom, I would have to take my headphones off, unplug everything from my MacBook, unplug the hard drives, fold it all down, power it down, put it back in my bag, put all the cords in the bag, wrap it all up and all the stuff just to go to the bathroom. Because I was terrified that somebody would come by and steal something if I just left it sitting there. And there's a good chance they would have. Somebody would have. And I couldn't afford that. So, whenever I would take a piss break, sometimes I would just leave the library and go on a walk and go do something. Even though I would rather be sitting there getting things done. But I don't want to have to keep unplugging everything, plugging it all back in, unplugging it, plugging it back in, and going through this whole process just to go take a leak. And so I had to be real careful about drinking water. So I was dehydrated all the time because I didn't want to drink water because then I'd have to go pee and then I'd have to get up off the desk. And if I need to get something done today, this isn't going to work. And now I go take a leak. I probably had to get up 20 times today to go take a pee because I drank so much water. It's like you take that for granted. All of us do. When we live at home in our place, when you got to take a leak, got to drop a deuce, you go do your thing, come back. But when I was homeless, that was like a major, major thing. Like I had to plan my whole day around not making myself have to take a pee. I remember I used to talk about this all the time, and I was reminded of it. I used to describe that I felt like God was hanging me over the edge of the cliff he was hanging me over the edge of the Grand Canyon so that I could look straight down at the rocks 4,000 feet below me. And it felt like he was just holding me by the back of my shirt and hanging me over the edge of the canyon to look straight down. And all he's got to do is poof, let go of the shirt, and I'm going down. I'm going to fall 4,000 feet to the rocks in the river below. And nothing I can do to stop it if he lets go. And all I really wanted was to be able to take a couple... It's a bug zapper. Don't, pay no attention to that. It's a good thing. I lost my concentration though, but there would be nothing I could do to stop the fall. And all I wanted to do was take a couple steps back from the edge and enjoy the view. It's the Grand Canyon, for crying out loud. It's pretty damn scenic. And if you've never been there, I highly recommend it. It's no pictures cannot convey that. You have to see it in person. In the TV and pictures, and no, that does not work. You've got to see it with your own eyes to really take it in. Like, whoa, this is something else. And so I just wanted to take a step back and enjoy the view. I didn't want to be hanging over the edge of the cliff all the time. It was stressing me out. And I realized while I'm listening to myself say this in a video from, September of 2024, I don't feel like that anymore. I realized that I don't feel like that anymore. I don't feel like I'm being held over the cliff anymore. Like I don't know if I can step back and enjoy the view, but I've taken a step back from the edge and I can look around and like calm down and like like I'm there. Like I don't know if I'm like ready to pull out a tripod and shoot photos yet of the view, but I can look around and like get like I'm not like scrambling for my life anymore. And then maybe if things stabilize a little bit more and I level up soon, I don't know how it's going to, I don't know how I'm going to level up, but I've been stuck for a while without really leveling up. And just one positive thing comes along, maybe I'll sit back and enjoy the view and be like, look at this. This is the Grand Canyon. Look at that. We're here. But that's a step in the right direction either way. I definitely don't feel like I'm being held over the edge of a 4,000-foot drop to look straight down at the bottom with God holding me up by the back of my shirt. So, Friday, technology, buggy software. I treated myself due to my fitness goals and everything. I decided I've been wanting to do this for a long time. The right deal came along. I picked up a Garmin S2 smart scale for my bathroom. And it does your body fat and all these other readings. But the biggest benefit for me is that I stand on it, it takes your weight, it goes through all the stuff, and then it sends that to your Garmin account. And I don't have to remember, I don't remember how many times I get on my scale in the bathroom and I'm like, oh, look at that. And then I forget to put it in my app. And then I go to put it in my app and I'm like, I don't remember what I weighed. Crap. I gotta go weigh myself again. Forget about it. I'll just do it tomorrow. I don't even care. I'm a fat piece of shit. That's all I need to know. So, good enough. So now I know I'm a fat piece of shit and I know like the weight, the body fat percentage, the muscle mass, the bone density, the water weight, and all like 6 other things. Great. But setting this thing up, oh my God, it was like, I just thought I'd be able to turn it on, connect it to my app, and just be done. No, this was like an hour and a half of bullshit and Google searches and AI questions. And my main concern with doing it was introducing more technology and buggy ass software to a pile to my life than just continuing to use a regular old scale. I used to have a smart scale before the FBI drove a tank into my house, but it wasn't a Garmin. It was a cheap one, and it worked great. In fact, it was easier to set up than this Garmin one, but all of these different fitness apps don't talk to each other. So like Fitbit stuff doesn't like to talk to Garmin, and Apple doesn't like to talk to the other two, and all these devices don't like to talk to each other without a lot of BS and synchronizations. And so I'm trying to keep my whole ecosystem of devices, GPS devices, bicycle computer, heart rate monitor, smartwatch, or fitness tracker watch, all the stuff, the smart scale. I'm trying to keep it all with Garmin so that I don't, because it's already like, then I only got to deal with one piece of crap buggy software instead of 6 or 7 buggy ass apps. So, but this thing was an hour and a half to set it up. And I was taking a break from my client work, but I was getting pissed. My landlord stopped over. I thought he may have heard me motherfuckering out the window. He may have heard me. He was outside. He may have heard me going, motherfuck, fuck, fuckity fuck, and all this stuff, like cursing up a storm. And he knocked on my door, and I thought, oh shit, am I being too loud? And he just stopped over to say what's up and also told me that I had just talked about the garbage situation here being kind of crummy. And he told me that he finally got a trash removal company that's going to keep a dumpster here for all the tenants. But it had taken him like a year to find one that would actually like deliver a dumpster and come and get it on a regular basis. Trash pickup on my street is, it's up to you. There's no it's not the city or the town or anything. So that's, I don't live out in the country, but it is like living in the country with a lot of things like that here. So I'm setting up this scale. I talked to the landlord for a bit. We're cool. It wasn't what I thought. I went back to setting the damn scale up. Okay. So, like I said, now maybe the scale will help me get more specific details about why I'm a fat piece of shit. Like, instead of just saying, here's your weight. I backed off on the food tracking for the last 2 weeks. I've backed off on the gym. I'm definitely not riding my bicycle to the bakery tomorrow. That's for sure. I'm too burned out right now. I put 3 days in of... there's no way I could even get ready to do that tomorrow. So it is what it is. I did over 30 hours of freelance work in 3 days, combined with a bunch of other stuff. I'm done. I had a YouTube meeting on Friday. I skipped that. Didn't want to waste an hour listening to a bunch of blue-haired, the blue-haired censorship brigade gaslighting all of us about how great they are and how great YouTube is and all that bullshit. So I was like, nah, I'm good. Didn't show up. And then Amazon. Ever since AI took over writing all the code for Amazon, they got rid of all their programmers and they became a company that's too big to care. I swear to God, for the last 2 weeks, every single delivery that I queue up, because I'm sick and tired of going to the store. The stores are a miserable experience. I'm going to do a whole live stream about it one of the nights soon. I just got to put some thoughts together for that. But Amazon's getting bad too, so I'm starting to explore some other options. I'll talk about that in a minute. But Amazon keeps screwing up. It'll say, it'll say order now and it'll be delivered between 7 and 10 a.m. tomorrow morning. Oh, great. And then you hit that button and you pay for it. Oh, well, it'll show up sometime tomorrow. And then it'll say, oh, it's out for delivery. Then it doesn't get delivered. And then they're like, oh, we meant tomorrow, not today, but actually tomorrow, between 9 and 10. And whoops, we meant between 1 and 3. And no, wait a minute. No, we actually mean between 3 and 6. And then you refresh it. No, wait, what we actually meant was that it would be there between 5 and 7. And then, oh, wait, no, what we totally messed up. It's actually going to be 5:30 to 7:30 p.m. And, whoops, well, actually we meant 5:45 to 7:45 p.m. and refresh it again. And then, oh, snap, we don't even have the fucking thing and we never even sent it to you. But don't worry about it. We'll get it to you sometime soon. We'll let you know. And that's how every order has been now. So you can't even read the thing that says, get it by tomorrow. Get it by tomorrow means like you might get it next week. I don't know how they get away with that shit. Like, that's bait and switch. Like, straight up, that's a bait and switch. That's the FTC. That's illegal. But Amazon's, with their billions of dollars, they own the government. When it comes to, if the government comes after Amazon, they just buy the government official that oversees it, and then then the government rules in Amazon's favor and lets them do whatever the fuck they want. Remember, billionaires are allowed to rape children, so Amazon can do whatever the fuck they want. If it's cool. We got this dude running around Florida. He's calling himself, I'm Palm Beach Pete. It's fucking Jeffrey Epstein. Look it up. Palm Beach Pete is all over YouTube now. It's Epstein. Looks just like him, sounds just like him, lives in Palm Beach where Jeffrey Epstein used to live. That is what they're fucking doing now. They're just rubbing it in your fucking face like, ain't a goddamn thing you can do about that. Haha. We do what we want. We can rape kids. We do whatever the fuck we want. So that's who's in charge. So nothing we can fucking do. And, but, you know, Amazon grew as fast as they did and became a monopoly because of customer service. They grew so fast because people didn't trust buying things online. And Amazon made the experience better than going to the store. And that's why like the Amazon van, when you do see that your delivery is actually about to get to your house and you'll see the little map and it'll show the Amazon van and it'll say there's 19 more stops between him and you. And I'm like, dude's a quarter mile away. Like everybody in your neighborhood is getting everything from Amazon. Because you can watch the little van. He goes there, and then he's at that house, and then he's at that house, and then he's at the next house, and the next house, and like 18 more houses in a quarter mile, and then he's at your house. And you can watch the stupid little van on the map moving around. And like you think, he's right there. How can there... It's because everybody is buying on... Nobody wants to go to the stores anymore. And why? Because the stores are making it miserable to shop there. You know, I remember when nobody wanted to order anything from the internet because of how long it would take for shipping, and you might be throwing your money into a black hole. I think eBay was the first, like, people started getting comfortable with it because of eBay. And then Amazon came along, and it was just books at first, but when I remember the first time I ordered Amazon, and it was because Christmas needed to be, like, I needed to figure out Christmas for my kid, and didn't have time to go to the mall. So I'm like, Amazon. And it still took the shipping, it wasn't like next day shipping back then. But it was a good experience, and I'm like, I'll try that again sometime. And it eventually evolved. It was when I moved out into the country, out in Amish country, where just going to the closest Walmart was a half-hour drive. That's when it really latched on. I'm like, I'm getting everything online. Back in the day when I was a kid, you'd have like catalogs, paper catalogs you could order stuff out of. And like, you could call on the phone and place your order and give them a credit card number, or heaven forbid you write a check and you put that in the mail with the thing from the mail order catalog. Send that in the mail. Wait 2 weeks for the check to get cashed. Wait 3 more weeks for the thing to get delivered. It's going to be like 2 months to get whatever. You're going to forget you ordered stuff, and it's just going to show up someday. And, oh, yeah, I remember this. That's what it was like when I was growing up. So, like, imagine ordering clothes online back in the 90s. And then, like, so it's like a month. It's like a month and a half, and then your clothes show up that you ordered, and nothing fits. Now what do? You got to send it back. Like, what kind of a nightmare was that? Now you just order a bunch of crap on Amazon. If you don't like it, drive over to Whole Foods or Kohl's and make a return. Boom, your money's right back in the account. Try it again. It's convenient. So Amazon made it, but now that they're so big and they're a monopoly and they're, they can just throw away $100 million and it's no big deal. It costs more than that for Jeff Bezos to maintain his yacht per day. It's like $200 million just for him to keep his yacht running. Even if he's not hanging out on his yacht, just to keep it docked costs a couple $100 million a day. So he didn't give a fuck. $100 million to Amazon's nothing. So they don't care about you anymore. And now they're just going to go downhill. So you got to try and find some new options. And I am. I'm looking into other things. But Friday, I was productive and I worked all the way up until about it was like 9:30 p.m. when I was done with my client work, and I still did other things. I gave myself, on a rise and grind scale of 1 to 10, I gave myself an 8. We're 49 minutes into this video, and that's just the first of 3 days. So I'm going to try and go a little faster here, but I hope I'm trying to tell stories, and hopefully you get a little something more out of this video than just, what's Adam up to. Yesterday, was not early out of bed. I was up at 10:30. Oh, Friday, I also did a load of laundry. One load, but I still had 5 more loads to do. So I got some laundry done, and just stuff around the house. I gave myself an 8 out of 10 because I got up at 7:30 in the morning and just started going at it. And I didn't stop until about 10, probably 11 o'clock at night. And I was productive the whole time. And I got a lot done. So that's the first time I gave myself an 8 out of 10. Saturday, didn't get out of bed till 10:30. I was exhausted. I was just exhausted. I didn't set the alarm. I just slept until I wanted to get up. Had my laundry ready to go. All I had to do was fill the machine with water and turn the knob. And I got it all washed and hung up to dry by noon. And the biggest problem of yesterday, day 22 of the Rise and Grind Challenge, were these fruit flies. Now, you've seen them in a couple of videos and during the live stream. Fungus gnats. Not fruit flies. I guess it's like an actual thing down here in Houston. They come in waves, and everybody, I'm not the only one going through this. It's a big problem. It's on the news in Houston. It's like a news story when they come. It's kind of like, I'm looking at one right now, and if he gets in my face, I'm going to get pissed. But it's kind of like the stink bugs in Pennsylvania. There's not a lot you can do. It's a constant battle. So yesterday, there's this one house plant where they've decided that's where they're going to breed. And I don't want to take the plant outside, but I'm close to doing that and just letting it live outdoors. It's like a cat covered in fleas. You're going to have to go be a stray cat because I ain't doing this. We're not there yet. I put diatomaceous earth and cinnamon in covered the top layer of soil with that. And the bugs really didn't like it right off the bat. They were like, yo, what'd you do to our home? And then, so I went to Home Depot because Home Depot does same-day delivery. Same-day delivery. So I'm like, there's an option. Any of these companies, I don't know about Walmart, because I hate Walmart. I absolutely hate Walmart. I hate Walmart more than Amazon. But if I'm trying, Amazon's too big to care, Walmart's too big to care, Home Depot's too big to care. So none of these companies are, probably Lowe's does the same thing. But I figured Home Depot says they'll do same-day delivery. It probably will be today. So I queued up in order to deal with these freaking... I've put a lot of money in pest control this month with bugs, just all the stuff to eradicate any kind of bug that's going to come my way. I've got an arsenal. I could get a truck that says Vamonos Pest on the side of the thing and I could probably go be an exterminator now. I've got it all. I've got all the shit. Fungus gnats, though. I had to get some stuff for those. The stores never carry the good stuff, though. Pyrethrin was something I wanted to get. Now, that's a good natural bug killer, and it's non-toxic for humans and pets. And in fact, it's very potent, but it's non-toxic. You could probably drink it right out of the bottle. It comes off of plants. There's a certain kind of plant. It's concentrated. Look it up. My exterminator in Pennsylvania used that for everything. That was his number one go-to. He would use pyrethrin for pretty much everything, unless it was something that, you can mix it with rubbing alcohol, so you can put it in a little spray bottle like this. So if I'm like, psst, get one of these bastards in the air, it gets a blast of rubbing alcohol. There you go. It gets a blast of rubbing alcohol and pyrethrin mixed with it. It's potent. But Home Depot doesn't have pyrethrin, but Amazon has it. So I didn't order it, but I did order some things. One of the things that somebody suggested was put a fan in front of you, like a small desktop fan, to blow air across your face. And these flies, these little flies, they don't want to get in the stream of air because they're weak flyers, so they can't deal with the wind. And so I got this thing, this Ryobi thing. I've got tons of these batteries. I figure, why not? This thing's great. I have one of these go for 3 days. This thing went 3 days on one of the smaller amp hour batteries, and I've got tons of these batteries. So that I figured would solve the problem, and it did. As soon as I put that fan and turn it on, they stay away from my face while I'm trying to work, and it's kind of annoying having a fan making all that noise, but it's not very loud. And one of these just one battery will go for like 3 days while I'm sitting here at my desk, and this is good for camping trips. There's so many things I can use this for that it'll be versatile. I can even use it to supplement my fan when I'm drying clothes in the other room. I can put this fan and like get more airflow going on. So I don't know. It's multi-purpose. I didn't want to spend the money, but I had to do something. Like the flies were getting crazy. Like I said, I spent all this time working on the client project. It's a custom design, these pages that I'm building. He's probably going to be a little irritated that it took so long. We'll see what happens. I poured my heart and soul into this for the last 3 days. So hopefully he'll be happy that it's live. And hopefully that's enough. But the gnats, I had to deal with them. I got some other stuff. I got some spray stuff. I got some sticky traps, these bright yellow sticky traps. And I got a few other things, and I already have 3 bug zappers in the house. The tennis racket style, they sit in a stand, and they're just there, and they got lights built into them. And you've heard it a few times during this video. The population has been decimated. Between yesterday and today, it's down like 90%. They're almost done. I've probably got a few more days of dealing with them here and there, but today was bearable. Yesterday drove me insane. I almost got rid of them. Then I took the plant that they were breeding in, took it into my bathroom because my bathroom has better light, but it's also warmer, and boom, they exploded again. So I had to take it up a notch. And then I had a coffee mug spill yesterday, an open coffee mug that you've seen me drink out of. I'm done with that. It fell out of my hand and it did a flip, and coffee went 300, and it was like the Sphere in Las Vegas. It went 360-degree spherical spray of coffee around my entire freaking kitchen, and I had to stop in the middle of the day doing work to clean coffee. I went through 2 of my bowl. I have like a quick mop. Went through 2 mop heads of that, half a roll of paper towels, and an hour of scrubbing and cleaning and just cleaning up that mess. Not to mention losing a whole mug of coffee. I was so mad. I lost my shit when that happened. Every time I hear that pop, you're gonna see me smile, because I'm telling, it's not going to be long before they're just done. They're just, it's they're active right now. That really haven't been bothering me all day, but um, everything that I've done has knocked this population down. Like it is definitely, they've definitely taken a hit in the last 24 hours. So a few more days, they're gone. And I can move on to other stuff. Um, But yeah, then I cooked dinner last night. I worked until I think, oh my God, it was midnight. I cooked dinner and then I ate and took a break and then I went back to work and I worked on this client project and I stopped working at midnight. And then I sat down and I took a break and watched TV and just zoned out. I think I pretty much went straight to bed, but I maybe not straight to bed. But on a scale of 1 to 10 on the rise and grind scale of grinding, I gave it a 7 because I got out of bed at 10:30 and I had to take so many little breaks throughout the day that to deal with these bugs and to do other things and the coffee spill and everything else. And I'm like, I ended up in order to get my 10 hours in for my job, it took me until midnight to get those 10 hours logged. And I was done. I was so wiped out. But then somehow, today is day 23, and I don't know how it happened, but I got out of bed at 7:45 in the morning. I think part of the reason I'm able to wake up earlier all of a sudden is because I haven't gone to the gym much in the last 2 weeks. And so now my body's not completely exhausted. The gym and the workouts are killing me. And I think, and it's good and bad. So I got to figure out, I got to get more balance going on there because I do feel like I can get out of bed early, easier when the gym is not draining me physically. But at the same time, I'm not going to lose weight. I'm not going to meet my goal fitness wise if I don't kill myself physically. So I gotta find balance there. So we'll keep working on that. But I got up at 7:45 and started laundry right away, like right off the bat. And I had to do 4 loads of laundry to get caught up on laundry. And since I started so early, I was like, hell with it, I'll do it. And the loads were kind of light, but I had like bed sheets, jeans, towels, and all the things that are awkward and hard to wash in that machine. So it took 4 loads to get everything done. And the clothesline was a little bit too crowded for a while, but everything was washed and hung up by noon, and everything was completely dry by 3 p.m. So 8 to 3, 7 hours. It takes 7 hours to do 4 loads of laundry just to get them washed and dried and then taken off the line and just put away. That's without putting them away and folding them and organizing them. That's just to wash and dry the clothes. 1 load of laundry, let's say I get it in at 10, it takes, and it'll be about 5 hours from beginning to end till everything's dry. And even then, these new bicycle shorts, I picked up a couple of pair of new bike shorts and they got really thick pads for the old taint. And the pads are so thick on these that they take, you got to put them right next to the fan for like straight up, like have the fan blowing on them for like 8 hours. And you got to squeeze them to get the water out. They've got like this gel they're very comfortable, good on the old taint, but they taint gonna dry quick. So I can't wash them on the day that I need them for the gym. So we'll see. So that right now all my laundry is caught up other than putting everything away and folding it. And I can probably go 2 weeks without doing laundry again. Bicycle shorts and gloves will be, because I have a pair of shorts and I have 4 pair of shorts and 4 sets of gloves now. And so I'm not wearing gloves twice. Boom, boom. Yeah, 3. Gotcha, bitch. All right. 3 gloves. Or, yeah, I don't wear gloves twice, especially when I'm all sweaty and nasty at the gym. On a road trip, on a long trip, I do the same thing. Like if I were to go on a 1,000-mile bicycle ride, I would take 3 pair of really good bike shorts, 3 sets of gloves, and I would rotate them. And I would try to at least go to a gas station sink or something and squeeze out a pair, maybe mix some soap with them, gloves and shorts, and then hang them off the back of my bike to dry while I'm riding. And then I've got a clean pair ready for tomorrow, and then the pair that I'm wearing, gloves, shorts, for the current day. Same thing with shirts. 3 shirts. If you're going on a long trip, you got to be conservative with space, but you also got to have enough stuff so you're not stanking. So, I'm gonna run out of bike shorts before anything else, and that'll tell me when I have to do laundry again. Today was the 3rd day in a row using the Garmin scale. Once I got past the setup process, it's actually working pretty good now. And like I said, just being able to stand on the scale, get the measurement, and walk away with it, and it records everything, and I don't have to do anything. It's already in the app. So that was nice. That was more of a frivolous thing. I really don't need it, but I do like it, and I am trying to be. It is a goal of mine to get physically fit, so I just said to hell with it, do it. But like I said, I could have got a cheap Chinesium scale, but the apps just don't play together nice. And, the companies do that. There's no reason why they can't. There could be Apple and some other companies are trying to make a universal fitness data file format so that all the apps can just talk to each other and work seamlessly. So you can get a Fitbit and a Garmin and you can have a Chinesium scale, and you can have all these different things working together, and an Apple Watch and a Samsung Watch, and all the different devices could be nice and play with each other and talk to each other, but the companies do it on purpose. Back in the day, a Macintosh couldn't open a file from a Windows computer, and a Windows computer couldn't open a file from a Mac. And eventually people got sick and tired of that shit, and they had to make them cross-compatible. Now it don't matter what computer you use. File's a file. But back in the day, you were stuck. If you had a bunch of Mac files and you walked into someone's house and all they got's a Windows computer, you're fucked. Well, I guess, you wouldn't even be able to get the files off the disk. Companies eventually were forced to make things compatible. It's kind of like these electric cars. They're all going to have different plugs and connectors. There's an episode of that show called Black Mirror on Netflix. It's a great show about our dystopian future. There's an episode where this chick is driving around in an electric car, and she goes to charge it, and they're like, "Oh, you've got the old style charger. We only charge the new. All the connectors are different that you plug into the fucking car." Like, imagine if they changed the power outlets in your house every 6 months, so that every time you buy an appliance, it's got a new kind of plug, and you can't just plug it into your fucking wall anymore. And then you got to get an adapter to plug into your wall. And then you got to get an adapter for that adapter to turn that into some other thing. And before you know it, you got this big chain of adapters just to plug in the new microwave you got at Walmart. Well, that's what that's what they do. And like, how many times did Apple come out with an iPhone and they're like, "Oh, we changed the plug this month. Oh, we changed the plug again. Oh, you're on have to go out and buy all new cables when you get your new iPhone because we done did it again. Changed them all again. All the plugs and all the connectors are different again." And now they finally settled on USB-C. And part of the reason for that is because over in Europe, because Americans don't stand up to power anymore. We're just a bunch of fucking dumb lemmings. At least over in Europe, and I'm not saying that, like, Europe is a good place to live, but at least the people over there were like, we've had enough of this shit. So they've got laws over in Europe now that companies can't just willy-nilly change the fucking cable every time a new phone comes out to make you go and buy a bunch of new shit. Because they call it e-waste. It's because they don't want their landfills filling up with cords and cables that were only good for last month's phone, but now they changed the cable and you got to get all new shit. So USB-C is going to be around for a while just because of that, because it's not profitable for these companies now to keep changing the cable every 6 months. So that's, but with the fitness apps, there's no incentive for them. Man, I'm telling you, there weren't that many bugs today, but this thing's going crazy. I'm just wondering if there's I don't see anything in there. All right, so yeah, I only got a few minutes left. The thing stopped recording, and I don't even know why, but now it's telling me I got 9 minutes. But I don't need any more than that to finish this video, so I don't even know why it stopped recording. I just noticed. I'm like, oh crap. And but it wasn't like I kept talking. I caught it right away. So but yeah, the fruit flies, the gnats are pretty much decimated, but you're hearing them pop in the background because they like to congregate around me with all these lights and stuff here in this space. And so when I walk away, and also at night when this tennis racket thing is really bright and it's the only light in the room, they're just like zero, pop, 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 pop. But no, the population's down 90% today, and within a day or two we're gonna be good. So I worked on my client stuff all day today, grind away on that project. I finally finished it, got everything live on the website, and I'm going to take a quick break to eat after I'm done with this video, and then I'm going to have to, I don't even know what I'm going to do next. I got things to do. And I'm probably not going to get to chill and relax until 11, 12 o'clock, and then I got to get up at 7 in the morning to go to the bakery. But it was about 7:15 when I was finished with the website. But like I said, I've still got more stuff to do, even on that project. And I also found a collaborator. There's a guy on YouTube who has 85,000 followers, and he lives right down the road from my client. And he just cured cancer. He just cured his own cancer with something that we're not supposed to talk about on YouTube, but, right? Let's just say you heard it right from the horse's mouth, what he used and how he got rid of his cancer. And of course, this guy's dealing with all kinds of crap now and blowback, and they want to cancel his channel and shut him up because, when the whole world finds out that the cure for cancer was when you could cure cancer for a $10 trip to Central Tractor Supply, people are going to be people are going to be burning some buildings to the ground on that day when everybody finds out they've been lying to us this whole time. But he's not the first person that's told me that. I had a nurse, a pretty significant, well-paid nurse who quit the nursing career out of the corruption in the medical industry, flat out told me that, oh yeah, they've known about this for years, that you can cure cancer for about $10, but they don't want any of you to know because there's no money to be made. They don't want you to know that you can cure cancer by taking a trip down to Tractor Supply, paying $10-20. Yeah. Yeah, they definitely don't want you to know that. But I exchanged some emails with this guy because I want to put these two together. My client's a cancer survivor. This guy and this guy are they would be a good match. They would get along. I think that I'm surprised they don't know each other already, to be honest, but you can't know everybody, I guess. And so I'm sent some emails back and forth trying to set something up between those two. It's like playing matchmaker, you know what I mean? It's like, hey, you two should go out on a date. You'd probably get along really well. And that's kind of how my parents met. So we'll talk about that some other day. And I wish I could have spent another full day deep cleaning my house today. That's what I really wanted to do today. But on the positive side, I did that last Sunday, a week ago, and nothing has slid backwards since. And just the little bits and pieces that I did today as I was taking a break from writing code, everything is better. My house is better today than it was last Sunday in terms of like tidy and organized and everything, except for I didn't make my bed today. So, there's that. But nothing slid backwards. Nothing, the bottlenecks have not piled up, and in fact, all the laundry's done. So there's really no bottlenecks in front of me right now. And just putting a little chipping away at it all week long really made a difference. And I'm not like in a place where now I've got to spend a whole day in drudgery cleaning my house. The next time, as long as this next week goes by smooth, maybe next Sunday I'm going to take a day to just deep clean. And to get a video tour. I want to do a little video tour and show you guys and just kind of maybe put an edited video together. Here's where I was. Here's where I'm at. And here's everything that went on in between. And talk about that. And kind of throw it all together into a, like, here's how far things have come along. And just take you on a tour of the house, because I've got video from the first day I lived here, and I've got some photographs of when the place was completely empty. What it looked like when it was totally empty, what it looked like the day I moved in. I brought in the video camera and showed you around while everything was still in boxes. Then I took you on a tour shortly after getting my car and setting up so you saw some of the progress. So I'm going to show you, like, it's basically in its final form now. I had a plan on day 1, probably day 5, of exactly what I was going to do to lay out my space and what I was going to put where and what I had to get. And I had it all kind of queued up in a spreadsheet. And I just hit it one at a time. And I thought it would take a year. I thought it was going to take 6 months to a year to do it. And that's pretty much accurate. So I have like 5 little piles of clutter that I either have to sort out and organize or put them in a box and hide them from you guys so that you don't see it. And I got to mop the floors with a wet mop because they're not horrid, but they're like a steam mop's not going to do the job now. And so I got to do those 2 things, and then I can take you on a video tour. So with that, everything I've done today, including shooting this video on day 23, I'm pretty much feeling like I'm going to give myself, out on a scale of 1 to 10, I'm going to give myself a 9. A 9! I'm not going to give it a perfect 10. But I've done so much today with the bug control, the chores around the house, the laundry caught up, 4 loads of laundry, busting ass for 10 hours on a client project, and getting a website live, or web updates live, that were very, very, very complicated to do. Oh my God, so much time went into this. And there's other things I did today that I'm not even remembering because it's been so busy. I'm giving it a 9. In fact, I'm going to give it a 9 right now, because I know that tonight I'm going to make some food. I'm going to write some more code. I'm going to do a little more stuff. I got to send out an invoice. And then I can chillax till I fall asleep. And then I got to get up and go do the bakery stuff tomorrow. And that's going to wear me out. So that's it. That's today's update. And I don't know when these videos are all going to go live, because that's something I had to push off to the side in favor of getting other things done. And it's just, I can grind, but I can't do everything. And so I just had to pick what's most important and do that first. But I want to, we're I'm not quitting YouTube. They're gonna have to kick me off. So with that, I'm just gonna be peace out.